Nothing automotive related today here in the Shade Tree Garage because, this is considered a small farm. And so sometimes you're working on all sorts of things besides, this does have four wheels. It's my Massey Ferguson 135 tractor, vintage 1970. I've had the tractor 5 or 6 years now, and it's run really well. When I first got it, the carburetor was pretty junky, and so I had two options. I could get a new one or rebuild the one I had, and rebuilt it. And of course, it's an updraft carburetor, which is something you don't see in automobiles very often, unless it's back in the very early teens and 20s. Anyway, all right, the tractor has not missed a lick for the years I've owned it once I rebuilt the carburetor. Now, all I've owned are old tractors. I had a TO30 Ferguson, a TO20 Ferguson in the past. And one of the issues you have with old tractors is debris in the gas tank. And I mean, it will clog. Now, the fuel pickup on the Ferguson tractors had a screen that stuck up so far from the bottom of the tank. But if that could get clogged with debris too. And so I think on both of the Ferguson tractors, at some point I had to drain the tank and take the pickup and the fuel bowl out and just clean all that. My Massey Ferguson started giving me fits a few weeks ago. It was starving for gas. You operate a tractor long enough, you can tell if it's spark, fuel, or whatever the issue is. So I'm bush hogging, and she's starting to starve for gas. So I pull the choke out a little bit, and that helps. Anyway, I limp it back up the hill to the house. And so I just stop, give her a few minutes, and it fires back up. Choke it, fires up, and make it into the barn. It's not spark, it's not air, it's the fuel. So this is the fuel bowl for the Massey Ferguson. Now mine is a gas engine. You don't find many. The one Massey Ferguson 135, the most desirable is diesel. The gas engine, not so much. But it's a 3-cylinder gas engine. And I will tell you, it had missed a lick for me. I'm real happy with it. This is the fuel bowl. And you've got this screws up into the bottom of the tank. And this is the shutoff valve. And this, of course, is the bowl. And let me take this loose. And I mean, all fuel bowls, this is pretty much the same from brand to brand. And you've got your fuel filter right there. Let me take this dude out if I can. And of course, the fuel filter, when you remove the fuel filter, it's nothing but a screen. But this was an improvement over the screen on the Ferguson tractors. It has a nice rubber seal instead of using cork. However, as you can tell, when I took this out, it destroyed the rubber seal. But the screen is perfectly clean. So, while I'm taking this apart, I'm thinking, what is causing it to starve for fuel? Well, I assumed that this filter was probably full of crap. Not so. But anyway, I've ruined it because of the gasket fell apart, because it's probably been in there since day one. All right. And of course, there was virtually no debris in the bottom of the bowl, which is unusual. But anyway, so now here's what happened. Once I get it all apart, I'm checking this is the fuel outlet. And the fuel outlet is, you can see right through it into the interior of the bowl. So there's no blockage there. This, of course, shuts the fuel off and on. And while it was on the tank, open her up and fuel would come through slowly. I had the bowl off and I cleaned the bowl out. It had a little bit of debris in it. So I put it back on and I'd open the valve back up, and the fuel should just whoosh, fill that bowl in a hurry. It was dripping down slowly, and I'm like, so it turned out that the obstruction, the reason it was starving for fuel was a restriction inside the passages going down from the tank right to the valve. And then it comes out into the bottom of the fuel bowl on the sides of this bolt right here. Let's see, I think you might be able to see. Yeah, you can see there's two passages on each side of that bolt, and that's where the fuel comes out. And then it goes through the filter. No, wait a minute. It goes through the filter after it's in the bowl, and then when it comes out, when it's drawn out of the fuel bowl, it's filtered that way. So, so I do the old, well, let me blow through it and see if it works. So I opened the valve, and I blew through here, and it was like, it was blocked. I mean, I blew as hard as I could, and I could barely feel any air moving. So I took a piece of wire and poked down in through here, and I got muck. It looked like just black mud. So I got out the my favorite carburetor cleaner is Berryman B12. I can't speak highly enough of this. Now, I'm pretty sure almost all carburetor cleaners are pretty much the same. I mean, they all smell the same, right? But I like Berryman's. And another thing, my son is the consummate shopper. And when he shops, he looks at unit price, how much per ounce. And at the auto parts store I was at, the Berryman B12 had the best unit price. You got the most for your money. Now, I've used Gum Out. I've used, 19 other brands of carburetor cleaner, and I think they're all good. But Berryman gives you the best, at least at the store I was at, gave you the best bang for the buck. And I'm all about bang for buck. So I poked down in here with a stiff piece of wire, and I got some crud out, and I'm like, it ain't, and kept blowing through it, and I'm like, no improvement, none. So I got out the Berryman, and I've soaked it 2 or 3 times. Then I went over and got the air compressor nozzle, and I blew the crap out of it. And I mean, black crap just shot out of the bottom of this bolt here. And so then I blew through it, and it's perfect. It's like no restriction at all. So now I'm going to put it back on the tractor. However, I've got to get a replacement for the filter because I've gummed up the filter. Now, I could probably remove the rest of this and put a cork filter over the top of that, around inside that, if I could find one. I might try that if I have to, but I'm going to see if I just can't find one with the rubber gasket built in. This is the cat's meow compared to the cork gaskets I've used with my Fergusons. And I like the fact that the fuel inlet comes through, and then it goes down into the glass bowl, and then as the tractor feeds, it sucks the fuel back through, and the dirt stays inside the bowl. I like that. Anyway, so I guess my next job is to find a filter. I really don't want to replace the bowl, but it's cleaned up really, really well, and I got all the crap out of it, and that's the main thing. All right, the only other hint I want to tell you. Now, my gas gauge doesn't work on my tractor very well, and so I've got a piece of fuel line about that long that I keep sitting next to the tank on the tractor, and I just put it down in there, see how much fuel I've got. And it was only showing about that much. Well, when you consider the size of the tank on a Massey Ferguson 135, that half an inch of fuel is more than you think. So when I unscrewed the bowl, I had a I had a lap full of gas. So anyway, just be warned. If I had been thinking, I would have had a gas can and a funnel and caught that gas. But I wasn't sure what kind of crap was going to come out of it, because I was thinking there were leaves and debris and crap inside the tank that might have been blocking the fuel bowl, but not so. It was inside the fuel bowl. Now, this fuel bowl, unlike the Fergusons, this fuel bowl has no pre-filter up here. Now, the Fergusons had a extension that came up about an inch, and it had a screen around it, so it pre-filtered the fuel, and it wouldn't. Now, I had a case where that pre-filter clogged up, and fuel would not go through there, so I had to take this out and clean that, and then it was good to go. Anyway, so if your tractor is giving you fits, and it's, just think about the fuel flow. And when I think about it, the first time I pulled the bowl off and cleaned it and put it back on, I should have known the restriction was in here. When I opened the fuel flow up, and the bowls filled very, very slowly. So that told me it was either a restriction in here, or it could have been in the tank. So anyway, but it's solved now. I just got to get the filter back in here and let her rip. All right, that's all. That's just a tip for you tractor owners. And I've got old cars and old tractors. What can I say? They both have four wheels. So, all right, thanks for watching. And you never know what's going to come up here in the Shade Tree Garage. I'm still working to get maybe tomorrow, I'm going to get the starter back on my old 87 Dodge pickup truck sitting right out here in front of the shop. Got the starter and everything, and it's ready to rock and roll. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll be motivating again in in the big green monster. All right. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time here in the Shade Tree Garage.